Today you're going to learn how to sign your first ever agency client on your first sales meeting. I'm going to introduce you to Daniel, who is a student of mine, who just signed his first client on his first meeting, just 20 cold calls since launching his agency. Now, I'm going to be critiquing Daniel's sales call live for you guys. You're going to see the whole thing and my feedback. I haven't seen this sales call yet, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on. I have no doubts, even though he signed up a client, that there are many things that he could do to improve this call. Sales call reviews are an invaluable way for you to improve yourself as a salesperson. You're going to benefit from all of that juice today. So let's get straight into this.
Let me just move you over to my big screen here so I can see you a bit better. Okay, great. Now I can see you. Yeah, look, so how's that worked for you so far in terms of SEO and what you're doing currently?
Yeah, because I switched them.
Okay, I'm just going to start, and I'm going to be starting and stopping this because I think it's important to give live feedback. So my first impression on this call is Daniel's setting doesn't look that great. He's got his agency logo behind him. He's superimposed in the front, but there's a low quality camera going on, and it's kind of bugging out. It's glitching out, He's fleeting between the kind of green screen, and so it's not the best first impression. We need to make sure that we look good on camera, okay? And not just ourselves and presentable. Daniel looks great, but the background and the green screen thing just isn't doing it. So something to be mindful going into this. Also, it looks like we're going straight into business talk, so I'm presuming that what I'm not seeing is the rapport building at the start. You never want to jump straight into business. If you're on a sales call with someone, regardless of how it's framed, you want to have a little bit of small talk. Shit talk, as we call it, okay? Talk about the weather, talk about where you're based, talk about something in the background of someone's video. I don't care how you do it, just build a little bit of rapport and then frame the call. Let them know how that call is going to go so you can control the meeting right from the start, because control is vital in any sales meeting. So let's get back.
To the company only but few months back, and it's working okay for me. Like, I'm getting inquiries and all that sort of stuff. And plus, I am just myself here. So, and I'm planning to expand this business a little bit. So I have another, person in the office, because the way I operate is it's actually just a kind of I do everything. So I go and quote the job, and then I design it, and I sell it, and I project manage the whole job. So that's how actually I work at the moment. And we do sometimes new homes, renovations, laundries, kitchens, bathrooms, and all that. And even with the coordinations and all that. So I do everything all myself at this stage. And I am actually struggling at the moment because of, the work. And so I've been talking to some people, if I can just maybe get some help in the office. So that's where I'm at.
What you're saying... Sorry to cut you off. So what you're saying is that currently you're sort of just a one-man band. You do want to expand, and you want to get more people in order to help you with that.
Yeah.
See what I mean about that glitching? Doesn't look too great. So
just the office
supplement that, you want to get more customers.
Yeah, an office person. Yeah, that's right.
An office person. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of, so do you normally hire out subbies when you go and do work, if it's a big job?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have actually all the subcontractors that. I have actually the team, so electricians, plumbers, tilers, carpenters, and so on. So I actually schedule them to do all my projects and all that.
Fantastic. Okay. And in terms of your core service offering, so do you guys manufacture as well, or are you just installers?
Yeah, I've got a business partner, so
he's done a really great job here in mirroring what the prospect is actually saying. This is really important because it's an active listening technique, and it shows that Daniel is listening to what he said. So he's reaffirming. So this is your situation, okay? I'm hearing you're a one-man band. This X, Y, Z, and so he's reaffirming. That's a great way to practice active listening for any of you guys.
The manufacturing company, I've got actually them. They do all the manufacturing for us, and then plus. Because we do bathrooms too, so the bathroom we have a suppliers wholesalers. They don't sell to the public direct, so we have a suppliers. They can supply all the the PC items, the tapwares, and then obviously we organize everything. Then we do have an option with the client as well. So if the client wants to supply their own PC items or tiles and etc., then we can supply all the trade work and all that.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. So you want to once it's all sort of set up, you want to split off completely and just have laundries and bathrooms be with
Yeah,
design
I mean, some
bathrooms
people,
and keep
yeah,
kitchens.
bathrooms and laundry. Some people ask for bathrooms and laundry. Some people are just for the laundries or like all the time. And then, so I just want to actually, keep them separate, like also the bathrooms, so we can just, invest money on the bathrooms only, and and just do advertising only for the bathrooms.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting for you to see in terms of your Google and in terms of your business profile. It would be interesting to see how you go about ranking against each other, because some people might just be looking up for an entire, home renovation and how you would go about ranking for that. Although because they are two separate, like it's the same industry, but they are two separate, slightly sub niches, because one is bathroom and laundry and one is kitchens. I think you'll do fine in the sense that you're not really going to be competing against yourself, which is always what you want to avoid. Just see how you go in terms of making a brand. I would advise that is consistent between both, so that it's clear that you're all the same, because there are a lot of these businesses that sort of do what you do, but you want to make sure that your brand across both of them is consistent. So if someone is looking for a whole home renovation, they stumble into your kitchens, and at another point they stumble into your bathrooms, that then strengthens your position as a serious business. Does that sort of make sense?
I know that, but there was another.
So I like that Daniel's taking the opportunity here to provide some value in the discovery stage. Usually discovery is just about us understanding the prospect and getting to know them. But the prospect here is outlined the path they want to take in the future by branching out. And so Daniel's used this as an opportunity to provide some value up front. I think it's very clear that Daniel's got experience in this space in the past. This definitely, whilst this might be his first sales call for this agency, he's definitely been in this industry and maybe worked in agencies before, because he's got that good product knowledge. It is nice to be able to inject some value in the front end of the meeting and in the discovery stage, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can pull this back to now being pure discovery, because it's very easy to then go down a rabbit hole. So we'll see what happens there, but so far so good.
Another option for us to switch the whole thing into design renovations. Again, I have secured that website as well, so designrenovations.com.au. And so this design bathrooms thing is just, as I said, I've recently just started that, and this is kind of on a trial. Let's see how things go. And we do home renovations too, by the way. So we have done 4 or 5 already full home renos. Under. So as I said, it's still kind of we tossing it, or kind of actually just trial basis at this stage with the design renovations. And so you never know what happens in the future. So because we've got pretty good reviews on, and so if we switch to, for example, design renovations, I'm just worried I don't want to lose those reviews, and as such, because it's going pretty good at the moment and people do actually read reviews. In future, we may actually switch to the whole just one platform only, just to design renovations. So this is the thing.
I would say that in terms of how you rank yourself on Google, and in terms of how your reviews, how much they influence, I would say that it's going to be for you a case of, what are there more of? If there are more in the area that you're sort of targeting, if there are more design renovations businesses and those businesses have a lot of reviews, then I would say that it would probably be smart for you to stick with design kitchens and keep working and building up your reviews from there. If the kitchens industry is the one that is more competitive, then maybe it does make sense to I'm not saying get rid of it, but to sort of move off into a design renovations, as you say. I would really advise doing proper research into where the market is currently in terms of what options there are for people to choose from and how many reviews those options have, because the reviews thing is really, really critical in terms of ranking yourself. So I suppose this has all been a bit of a side note, but I just wanted to understand better where it is that you guys stand now and what it is that you're trying to do with the business. But I just want to learn a little bit more about your business before we actually start. So you mentioned that you're doing something or other with these companies. So what is your current, I suppose, overarching digital marketing strategy?
Look, digital, it's mainly the Google. That's what we are actually, I'm investing on at the moment. And with the plus actually, probably House, House. So we are registered with House as well. and or there was one flay. I think I've been with one flay like for a long time, but I don't really take many leads from there. And yeah, the mainly is actually just to Google, Google advertising. So that's where we are at this stage. And as I don't know if you've seen that, so that as we discussed yesterday, so with the Facebook, it's just like normal posts. So we don't boost that, we don't advertise on that. I used to do that myself before, and then I got busy with other things, and then I just stopped actually boosting those ads and stuff like on Facebook and Instagram. So social media, for the Facebook or Insta,
the call that the prospect just referred to as the cold call that set the meeting the day before this.
We just only do just a normal ad just to show people, but obviously it doesn't go to because we're not doing the paid ad, so it's just just a normal ad.
Just so I understand, when you say, so two things. Number one, you say that you get it from Google. Do you mean Google Ads or from Google from your Google rankings?
Oh, it's just SEOs. That's what, I don't know how they work.
Okay.
Yeah, SEOs, like both design bathrooms, as I said, it just recently started, but it's just normal, SEOs. These companies they work with.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just want to give you a bit of context. So the difference generally between running SEO or any form of campaign, whether you were advertising or if you're just doing SEO and getting yourself ranking, is that people will only find you if they're looking for what it is that you're selling. So within any market, this is true, but particularly for something that's as big of a purchase as as a renovation, there's only a certain percentage of the total market that are actively looking to have someone do that for them. The idea with Facebook, on the other hand, is that we advertise to people that aren't necessarily, they might be, but they're not necessarily already thinking about it. We try and work on, and we would work with you to find out what their biggest sort of pain points are and what are the things that in their day-to-day life as homeowners actually hurt them, and work on those to then advertise effectively and to reach the right clientele for your business. So it just opens you up to a much bigger proportion of the market as opposed to solely relying on Google, just so you sort of have an understanding of the context. So then, apart from digitally and doing stuff online, what systems do you have in place to actually get new customers in general?
Daniel has taken our training and he has applied it exceptionally well. This is a very, very good discovery. What Daniel, and I just want to highlight a couple of the things that he's doing really well. Daniel is showing a very, very keen and thorough interest in the prospect. It's not fake interest. It's not like he said, okay, what's your marketing strategy? And they say, oh, we're doing some Google and we're posting on Facebook. Most agency owners at that point will be like, okay, cool, okay. And how much money are you making at the moment? They glass over, they're not taking interest. Daniel is looking to probe and read between. So the prospect said he's doing Google advertising and boosting posts. Well, actually ended up for that probing question that Daniel then Daniel put in the mix. That they're not running Google ads at all. They're relying on SEO, and they are not boosting posts at all. They just paid a digital marketer freelancer to post organic content for them. So now we've peeled back the lines and we're really getting the picture. And this is twofold. Daniel's going to be able to sell a better solution, and also the prospect is going to feel that Daniel genuinely cares about them, which he obviously does. He wants to provide a good solution for them. So this is good. This is like, watch this and learn, guys. This is a really, really good discovery stage. The one thing I would say is fuck it, lost it. Let's get back into it.
Look, it's just the Google reviews, man, as we were talking before. So Google reviews and then just SEOs, and plus actually word of mouth as well, people.
That's what I was going to say. I thought that coming into this, because Daniel's been talking about SEO and Google so much, I actually thought that Daniel was going to be pitching an SEO service, but now he's kind of bringing this around to Facebook. It's very clear that he's going to be selling a Facebook ad or a Meta ad service. At least that's my presumption. I haven't watched this call yet. I don't know. Now, what's very great, or what's very good about that, is if I've felt that, if that's the energy that I've been given across this sales call, it's the energy that the business owner is getting as well. And this means that when he presents the solution, okay, it's going to be very authentic. Now, this whole conversation has been about SEO and about Google because that's what the business owner has been speaking. So he's been speaking the business owner's language and resonating with them on what they perceive that they want. And in many cases, we have to sell people what they want and give them what they need. And so we're kind of selling them, okay, and this is the Google, this is the advice I have here, this is the SEO that you can, this is the strategy if you do want to branch out. But here's this Facebook ad thing. And that explanation on going through Facebook ads and getting the wider market share is just perfect. It's something that I've spoken about many times on this channel. So it's going to be cool to see now how we transition this over. And it's also, just noticed, an hour and 13-minute sales call. That's probably half an hour longer than I would usually see on a call. So it's because the prospect is very chatty. It means this video is going to be very long. So strap up, guys. I hope you're paying attention to this and you haven't got loads of tabs open and so on. And if you're just watching me for the first time and you're thinking, who is this Jordan guy and why is he reviewing? Like I've worked with over 4,500 agencies over the past 8 years. I scaled my own agency to multi-seven figures called affluent.co. I've helped many people hit 6, 7, and even 8 figures. And this is one of our students in one of our mentorship programs. And this is what we do. We give core reviews and we just make people absolute animals. And Daniel here is a product of that. So let's see what happens.
Well, they know each other just like that. Referrals, you can say.
Absolutely.
That's where we get the inquiries and leads from.
So you're getting inquiries and leads from word of mouth, from people finding you and really liking your reviews, which by the way, that's part of the reason I called you, is because I had a look at your reviews and they were really, really good. Which is really great. That's part of our criteria for who we reach out to. I'm not going to waste my time with any of this if you're not good at the service that you provide, because it doesn't work.
Shit.
So definitely hats off to you for that. So then I suppose in terms of, when you're actually doing this and when you get these clients that are coming in now, is there anything that you would say that you have issues with? Like what are your sort of your issues in the business now in terms of not just getting customers, but even providing a service or whatever it may be? What are your issues now?
Look, recently, Daniel, I have found that, because when I go to my equity conversion is a little bit low at the moment from the lead to sale. That's actually because everything has just gone up. Like, the trades pricing has gone up and the products price has gone up. And overall, if I see that, the living expenses have gone up as well. And people still have this actually mindset that I can get the kitchen for, 15 grand. And that's not the case these days. So, my kitchen starts from around 20 grand. Same thing with the bathrooms. Like we used to do $12,000, $13,000 starting price for little en-suites, and which is now gone to 15, 16 grand starting price. So at the moment, actually, that's the main thing. We are struggling at the moment. But there's no such issues when people come to, because we moved our showroom recently, not recently, a few months back, and we're still working on our showroom as well. Showroom is a really helps actually that to get the sale. Mm-hmm. So once we have the nice and good displays, and that, because I've noticed that before when we had the showroom at previous premises, so we have relocated to the bigger premises at the moment, and we are doing actually renovations for our showroom at the moment. So I'm just hoping once my showroom is all kind of up and running, then we will get more sales than what we actually at the moment we're struggling with the sales.
No, absolutely. Look, I just want to make sure that if this is the goal that we would be working towards, I want to make sure that you're aware of that this is what the result will be, and that you're going to be able to handle it. So I just wanted to make sure.
That's why I don't want to just go beyond that. So as I
said,
absolutely. We're doing it about 4 at the moment, and even if I increase that to 6 slowly and we'll see how we go, and we can just book our jobs in 4 to 6 weeks ahead. So that'll be actually more helpful, so we can schedule them better, and then we can book our trades better. For example, because I use my calendars for all my trades when I book them. So how the tradies work. So you have to call them all the time, and I call them as well, but I book them in the calendar too. So it's a reminder for me and for them as well at the same time. And I'm trying to put them all in the calendar, and just to organize them, as well.
Yeah, just so it's easier to keep
that's
track
right.
of.
So I can keep an eye on that, how many projects are going and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand what the trajectory then would be. So you're looking at, you want to expand to 8 to 10 jobs a month, and on average, the jobs are about 25 each.
No, actually, it just depends. Some jobs starts like around 15 to 20. So that's actually, I would say, because the bathrooms are like between $15,000 to $18,000. The bathroom when we start, and the kitchens are between 20 to 25. Excuse me.
Okay, so as a realistic average for each one, would you say about 20?
About 20, yeah, you can say that, yeah.
About 20. Okay, so about 20, and you said 8 to 10, so let's call it 9. So that's 180 a month. Yeah, 180 a month. Okay, so your revenue goal then is ultimately, then what you'd be looking to get from this is 180 a month. So then, how far away are you from this now? Well, what's your current monthly revenue?
Look, at the moment, actually, as I said, like,
It's a lovely way to. Daniel was following the book of our training, and it's just awesome to see. This is a lovely way to frame revenue questions. When you ask them what their goal is, people are much more likely to then tell you how much they're making right now. I personally just like to go in for the kill, and I just ask how much revenue they're making at the moment. But this is perfectly rolled out. You can tell Daniel is kind of struggling at this point to just claw back. The prospect is very chatty, which is why this call is so long. We're kind of almost halfway through the call, and we're not even out with discovery, which isn't usual. I'd say discovery usually is going to be like 10, 15 minutes. But the prospect likes to chat, and the one thing to do when someone likes to chat is listen to them, okay? If you listen to an individual that likes to chat, then they're going to trust you. If you cut them off and you're not allowing them to chat, you're not showing genuine interest, it's going to turn them off. Their character type just isn't going to like it. So, but at least we're now getting into the meat. We're ticking off these boxes. We've got a revenue goal. It's a nice goal. So, what I love that Daniel's doing here is he's highlighting that, okay, what is your goal? This is the revenue goal from this, okay? Symbolizing working with us, okay? So we're setting that anchor, okay? This is going to be that North Star goal that we're working towards now. And because Daniel spent so much time building trust within this meeting, okay, and getting a deep understanding of the business owner is going to be much more likely to think that Daniel has an understanding enough to actually take them to that place.
like, no, we're doing around 4. So it's, it will be double.
Okay.
So I would say between 70 to 80 at the moment.
It's between 70 to 80. Okay. Look, we're both business owners, and they didn't build Rome in a day. So I just want to make sure that we set a more realistic short-term goal that we can work towards, so that we can work from there to the future. So the halfway point between that would be what, about 130, 140? Does that sound right to you?
Just say 140, 150, even if we can, get to that initially. I mean, we'll be happy with that, and then.
I hate to keep pausing. This is what I call the ABC strategy. It's something that I teach our members. I cannot count how many. And the reason why I'm smiling so much now is I feel like a proud dad right now listening to this call. So many students and agency owners, when they go through and get to this point of the meeting, they shy away from this ABC. And what we're doing is we're setting we're getting an understanding of their current position, their desired position, and then we're coming up with a decided communal goal. And if we get the business owner to decide on that goal, it's like a realistic goal. Therefore, we're building trust. We're not saying, hey, look, I'm not going to make you 180 grand right away. Rome wasn't built in a day. What is something realistic we can work towards? You get buy-in around that figure. Oh, it's just... We'll watch it manifest.
Amazing. Okay, so let's just set 150. Just keep in mind as a more short-term goal that we can work towards, and then once we reach that 150, then we'll really push for for that last point for 180, and from there, if you ever wanted to expand in the future. Okay, so I suppose then we like to get down and understand why people like yourselves as business owners do what they do in terms of, on a personal level, apart from just wanting the success of their business. So I just want to understand, what would it do for you on a more personal level, outside of the business, for you and your family life and everything, to reach that first 150, to reach point B, if you will?
Look, again, being in the business, Daniel. So obviously, as I said to you, because I've been working myself for last 6-7 years at the moment. Okay. And so once actually because this is my passion as well. It's not just like I'm doing it for my living. So I love doing this. I love designing and all that. So my personal look, I mean, I would be happy if I have actually, people people working for me, like, maybe when we expand, for example. So I'll be happy just to overseeing the whole thing and getting people and training them to run that business for me.
Definitely a good action plan. Look, yeah, from everything we've just discussed and you've just told me, I understand where your problems lie in terms of reaching your goals that you're trying to reach, and I know how we can solve them for you. So if you'd like me to show you how we can actually, close that gap for you, I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Cool. Give me just 1 second.
Hashed it up a little bit. Not hashed it up. This is a bit harsh. That transition from discovery to presentation is better served as a question rather than as a statement. So this was kind of a statement that I understand your problem. Would you like me to show you how? I'm going to show you how we can close the gap by sharing my screen. And it was like, yep. Be better framed as, so I've got a good understanding of where you're at. You've got this problem, and this problem. Would you like me to show you? And I've got all confidence that we can help you close that gap. Would you like me to show you how? Yes. Okay. You could get a couple of yeses. We want to get the affirmations throughout the whole meeting, as many as we possibly can. So it could be, okay, so I've got a good understanding of where you're at, X, Y, Z. Does that sound right? Or have I got that right? Yes. Awesome. Well, I have all confidence that we can help you bridge that gap. Would you like me to show you how? Or you could say, would you like me to show you, or would you like me to take you through how we can close the gap? Okay. We can also then highlight, so you're currently at this point revenue-wise, you want to get to this point revenue-wise, would you like me to show you how we can close that gap? Okay, there's many ways to string it, just little wording differences depending on how the discovery stage went. A little bit slow here. We should have this prepared.
Let me know if you can see that. You should be able to now.
And I really am just digging things out here because Daniel is doing an
Can you see that?
job.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So first of all, your profile. Some good things. First of all, I like the fact that you've got a cover image here that is actually a picture of your work. I think that's a good place to start. On the other hand, I have seen some of your other images, and I do think there are other ones, from my point of view as an advertiser, you want these things to be really eye-grabbing. And I've seen some images that you've posted elsewhere on your profile that are they have a bit more contrast and a bit more, darker and lighter colors. And I think that would be better to have here as an image, and I'll show you what those are shortly. Apart from that, you have a strong brand online on your website, and I'd really like, with the green and the colors, for that to show through here in the profile picture as it has for the rest of your profile. Also, it's good to see that you've got reviews here and you do have that enabled. You'd be amazed at the amount of people that I speak to that don't enable this on their Facebook, and it really pisses me off because they're costing themselves business. I would recommend that you, as you said, you do your best to get as many of these reviews as possible. Particularly, obviously Google is the biggest one, and it's always.
Do you reckon he meant to say pisses me off?
Is going to be the most important one, but Facebook's really, really good to have too when someone comes and visits you here, and they can see this sort of cross-reference your reputation on both on Google and on here. Apart from that, it's overall it's really a pretty good profile, better than a lot that I see. Apart from this image, and again with some of these other ones, as I've explained to you already, would be good bases for ads, which is something that I, again, as an advertiser, look out for, because it means that I don't then have to quote you for having a photographer come out and taking photos of things, because you're already doing that and you're already doing it at a very high level, which qualifies you as a good sort of a good fit for what it is that we're trying to do here, with what you've already got, without needing too much extra stuff. Apart from that, in terms of the copy that you've got here, this is this
small bit of wording there that makes a big difference. This qualifies you as the kind of person that would be a good fit here. That statement alludes to the fact that the prospect has to qualify to work with the business. Okay? It sets a lot of authority. It makes them desire to work with you. It's like, well, of course I qualify, right? How can I qualify? And you can also, throughout a meeting, have areas where you dequalify the prospect in some instances. But it's just letting them know that we control the frame and we control who we work with.
This needs some work. What do I mean by this? It's great that you can, everything you said here is all true and it's all correct. And it's all, great stuff in terms of it gives reassurance when you're reading this. But there's two problems with this. Number one is that you're not asking people so much to do anything. There's no call to action here. You did put your website and your email and your phone number here, which is a good start, but you really want to be, people aren't going to do anything you don't outright ask them to do. And you really want to be with every single one of these posts, even though they're not advertisements, asking the people to do what it is that you want them to do. So you've got a website here and everything because you obviously want them to reach out, but you really want to have that there to ask them to do it. Apart from this, as I think I already mentioned to you yesterday on the phone, Facebook has it set up purposefully so that only 1% to 3% of the people that follow and like your page are going to actually be exposed to the things that you post. So I'm not even talking about the general public. I'm talking about, as you can see up here, just these posts, just from the people that follow you, only 1% to 3% are going to be exposed to it. The reason for this is that they try push people towards advertising, and I mean, I suppose they're sort of succeeding because we're having this conversation. But really, it's just the fact of the matter that it's really, really important if you want this sort of content and your images and the beautiful work that you obviously do to be exposed to enough people. You sort of have to go in that route because otherwise, 97% as a minimum are not going to be seeing this. Any questions there? Does that all make sense?
I understand. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So,
any questions? I would rephrase to, are you with me? You get me? Are you following? Just simple yes statements. We want yes, 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 rather than any questions. Just an easier way to frame.
From there, let's have a look at some of your competitors and what they're doing. So, for example, this guy. So this guy, when I looked up on Google and I did a few searches from a few different browsers, I just wanted to make sure that there was no sort of location issue. I did this from a few different places. This guy came up either first, second, or third from what I saw in the Google local pack. Are you familiar with this business?
No.
Okay.
Is this local, like around here in Campbelltown area, or is it just overall you're talking about?
No, so what we do is we have VPNs that we can check from multiple different places in Sydney just to see overall what comes up first. Obviously,
I haven't heard about this company.
Sure, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, we checked out in a few different places in Sydney, and this is one of the ones that came up. The reason, look, there are some other good ones as well. The reason that I'm using this one as an example is because they have a really large following on social media, as you can see, about 2,600 likes and I think 2.9K followers, and they have a company running ads for them already. They've got a lot of ads running. This isn't so much related to ads, but when we run social media for people in terms of organic social media, non-advertising, we post on both Instagram and Facebook simultaneously because they're definitely equally important for almost all industries. Well, does that all sort of make sense?
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Again, those same affirmation statements would really make a difference here. Like, you're with me. Just kind of, I think it's what Daniel wants to say, but he's saying other things at this point. And it just creates a little bit more friction. And it's important to know that you want to do this throughout the entire presentation stage. Are you with me? Are you following? You get me? Yeah. Make sense?
And hesitate to stop me at any point again if you have any.
No, that's fine. Yeah, keep going.
So with this, the reason that I'm showing you this ad specifically is because this is an ad that works for them. How do I know this works? It's not that Facebook is out here telling me, they're making X amount of dollars from this ad, but no one is stupid enough, and particularly not a company, which is obviously running this for them, to run an ad that isn't working for over a month. So the way it works is you test out a bunch of different ads, you see what works, and you keep what works. Why this is a good thing for me to show you is because even though this is an ad that works, there are a lot of things that I, as a company, as an advertiser, can see here that are just not done right in terms of being by the book and in terms of advertising. First of all, these photos, they're pretty good, and obviously it shows some sort of transformation. But for me, and you can see they've got some other versions of this here down the bottom. For me, this isn't eye-catching enough, and we would find that if we were running these ads, we would try at least to change these images to something that is a little bit more contrasty, and things can be done on Photoshop as well, just to make one look a bit darker and one look a bit lighter, just to make it more eye-grabbing so that it's what's called a scroll stopper, so that people actually stop scrolling when they see this. Apart from this, even if we ignore that and we just say that obviously this image and this ad creative has worked, because obviously it is working for them, the actual copy and the way that it's written, if we read it here, step into a world of indulgence with AJB Kitchen's masterful bathroom transformations. Our theme of experts, yada, yada. Look, it's a nice book, But again, it's important. Storytelling is important when you're advertising, don't get me wrong, but you really want to be addressing these points of contention that people would have. So logically, and this is sort of the entire basis of how advertising works, the person would go for the company that addresses and alleviates their existing concerns.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So who alleviate their concerns, obviously they'll buy off them.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Now,
again, I know what you're saying, like, so because the contents have to be like, to the point, and
I liked what Daniel was trying to do here, but it didn't pull off because there was a bit of confusion. I think it would be better to frame this as, and first of all, this is just a great example of how we educate through a critique, and this would be even better if this was a company that the prospect already knew about, because then you create that hunger that, like, I want to be better than those guys. Regardless, it's always great to educate through a real prospect and show them and critique. And then what we're doing here is demonstrating that we have a lot of expertise and we know how to make things even better. So this is a great example. For that question of who would your customers rather buy from, I would rephrase that as like, okay, we're looking at this ad right now, and obviously from your digital presence, if somebody was to stumble across both your companies online, who do you think somebody would buy from? And ideally you want the prospect to say themselves, because they want to say themselves, and then we want to correct them and say, well, we would love that to be true, but actually the reality is it's just because these guys are advertising, they've got more presence. The likelihood is the customers are going to be going to these guys more than they're going to be coming to you, because they've got more of a presence, they look more established, even though these ads are not as great as they could be, and we could improve them by doing X, Y, Z, as I've just highlighted. Okay, right now the reality is these guys are taking your market share. They are taking your customers. That is a harsh reality, because you're getting the Google, you're getting the SEO, you're getting this, but you're not tapping into this. But this shows very clearly from what I've just highlighted to you that we have a very clear opportunity to improve on what they're doing, and in fact push them out of the Facebook marketplace entirely. Okay, so that's an ideal situation. Of course, doesn't always go like that, but yeah.
And thinking, especially, I'm just actually thinking while you were talking badly, like especially in the winter time, people avoid to do the bathrooms if they have only one bathroom in the house, because in the winter and they don't want to go. If we put a portal, for example, outside, and they don't want to go to the actually outside, so the point actually what we do, and we can offer, like, okay, you will still have a functional toilet inside the house while we're renovating, and we can, like, do your renovation.
That's a great selling point. Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Within 3 weeks.
Very, very good selling point.
We can give you the functional, like, the bathroom within 3 weeks, for example. So that is actually that is the selling point. Yeah, I understand that.
No, absolutely. And this is, this is just from us sort of spitballing over a quick phone call. This is what we would work with you to ensure that we find the best selling points that you can provide to your customers in order to create the best and most effective ads and get you the best leads for your business.
Yeah.
So I just want to discuss a little bit with you about the different ad types that do exist on Facebook, just so you understand what it is that we're choosing from. Mm-hmm. So essentially there's three main types of ads. So you've got awareness, you've got consideration, you've got conversion. I don't want to bore you too much with what every single one of these does, because most of them really aren't relevant. But the main ones that we would be looking at for you would be lead generation to start with, and eventually conversions. Now, in the case of what we're trying to do, these are both technically, for us, as far as we're concerned, lead generation ads. The difference would be that conversion would be someone clicking through and landing on your website, where we would have a form built out on your website that we would build out. Lead generation, or what Facebook calls lead generation, would be a lead form on Facebook directly. So the reason that when we start off with, we want to have a lead generation form on Facebook directly is because this is what will bring in the most leads. And that's what we want when we're starting out, to see which of the ads actually bring in the most leads. Once we ran the campaign for a couple of months and we've already gotten to a point where it's much more optimized than it was when we started, then we will be able to, essentially be able to build out a form on your website that less people are going to get to, but it's going to get you higher quality leads. So that's sort of how that transition is. We would most likely, again, and this will depend on what we see in the metrics once we actually start running the ads, but most likely we would go from a lead generation campaign, and from that work our way up to a conversion campaign where the lead generation actually happens on your website directly. Mm-hmm. And then from that, we actually have to make sure that, obviously these ad types are all good and well, but we have to make sure that we target the right audience for your business. So Facebook has a very, very detailed targeting metric, and they can allow them.
a visual representation of a lead form ad would have been good then. So if we could have shown a lead form ad to give that more context, to see what that lead form actually looks like. Yeah, that would have been a nice touch there, just to kind of round that off. So we're showing someone what the contrast is between a lead form and a landing page and transition. So they're not just looking at the ad types, the campaign types. They're looking at a visual representation. Visual show not tell is always a generally good ethos in any situation.
Themselves to do that because so many people use Facebook and there's so much information. Like the people that use Facebook give so much information about their lives without even realizing it to Facebook. It's honestly pretty scary. Like to the point where if we wanted to, we could target 44-year-old women who are divorced and live on Oxford Street and have a cat. Like, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous the amount of the.
Come on, Daniel. OGs will know that pretty much word for word is the reference that I used to use on my sales calls. We could target women who are X age, living on Oxford Street and have cats, or have a red jumper, I think I said. Come on, Daniel.
Level that we could go down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the way it works. We can choose a radius of where you want to target. We can choose what the minimum age is, what the age of the average. So we would go and work out with you what the age of the average customer is as well, and from that work out who we want to target. What some of the interests are of the people that we might be targeting. We can really hone in, and over time, once we test out different types of audiences, we will actually get to one that is great and that works well. What we can actually do as well is, because you're already an established company, we would work with you to get a list of previous customers that you'd have. We then give Facebook, we put this list into Facebook, and we have a look from their phone numbers and their names. We can analyze through their Facebook profiles what qualities they have in common. So what is it about the customers that you've already had, and you know that these would be great leads because they're the type of people that you've already had before. And from this, we find people that are within a certain percentage similar to those customers that you've already have. And over time, once we've gone over optimized enough ad campaign all around, this is really, really powerful to be able to target the correct audience for you. And it's only going to get better and better as we continue doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, understand. Yes.
Fantastic. Cool.
What I like about what Daniel is doing is he's reinforcing throughout this meeting that this audience is going to get better, and the interest is going to be significantly better from when we first started. And this blah blah blah. It's going to get better and better, and on month 3 it's going to do X, Y, Z. This kind of messaging of like setting the future is so vital to setting good expectations. And it also builds a lot of trust. What we're not doing is we're not promising the prospect that they're going to get all these immediate results. We're reinforcing throughout this entire meeting this is a long-term play. That is very important, and it's something that many agency owners don't do. They overpromise and underdeliver.
So from this, let's just have a look at some numbers. So these are just the averages of your industry on a global level. So let's just run through some of these. So first of all, we've got the average cost per 1,000 people. So this is the average cost to reach 1,000 people, for 1,000 people to see your ad on Facebook. So I'll just preface this by saying that Facebook has the lowest CPM, or average cost per 1,000 people, of any advertising platform, which is really, really good for getting a campaign set out right pretty quickly. So that cost there is $12.76, again, on average, to be put in front of 1,000 people. From that, about 0.79% will actually then click through that ad and either fill out a form or do whatever it is on average from this specifically from this type of ad. So just to clarify, we're not comparing the averages of how many people click on an ad where all the ad is trying to do is get awareness and get you likes on your page. This is specifically relevant to the type of ad that we're trying to run. So 0.79%, which equates to just under 8 people out of those 1,000 that actually click through. And from there, the average conversion rate is 3.03%. Now, what this conversion rate means is from the amount of people that click through, how many actually then have filled out the form and qualified. So this is not the conversion rate of how many sales you make. This is just how many become an actual qualified lead, how many have filled out the form and are qualified. So if we take all these numbers, and I know I just spat a lot of numbers in your face, and we just literally just have a look at how that translates to, let's say your close rate was something really low. You're just, for example's sake, 10%. Okay, you have a close rate from these leads of about 10%. That would mean that you would need, in order to get one person, so essentially from these numbers that I just said, if you show your ads to 1,000, if you spend $12.76 and show your ads to 1,000 people, you would get that 3% of that 0.79%, which is about 0.2 people, which would mean that in order to get one, you would need to show the ad to about 5,000 people, or 5 times that. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Cool. So that essentially means that if your close rate then becomes 10%, and you're saying that your average job is, about 20 grand, then you're looking at a 20 times return on investment just on the basis of averages. And we don't strive for averages in our clients. We try to be the best. You have to keep in mind as well that these averages come from people who run their own ads and have no idea what they're doing, and they also come from people who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads per month from really big companies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just on strictly the basis of averages, just so you understand, you're looking at about a 20 times ROI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah. So if from this, first of all, have you got any questions of everything that we've discussed?
No, that's all good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so should we go through how this would work for you and for your company?
Okay. I loved what Daniel was trying to do here. I think this is great. This data goes without saying. First of all, we've got a lot of things going on. Got a lot of different pages. That's fine. Maybe there's a little sales deck that we could create and it'd be a little bit cleaner, but after we've got some case studies. This data will obviously be much better being his actual data from clients he's actually running, but seeing this as a first sales meeting, he can't do this, but this is a great thing to do. I feel... I don't know how I feel about the stating the 20 times return on investment. We're stating global averages. I think that can work. I think it's very possible that it might set a bad expectation with the client, and that they could be then expecting that immediate result. That said, and that was my initial gut feeling, that said, I then thought about the numbers. I then thought about what it actually meant to get a 20 times return on investment in this industry and whether that's actually realistic. And my conclusion is it's really, really damn realistic. I've worked with home renovations, I've worked with kitchens, I've worked with bathrooms. And what actually Daniel has unknowingly done here is he's told the prospect if his average job is $20,000, then he's going to have to spend $1,000 to acquire that customer. That is very realistic for a home renovation company, and in fact, in some cases you can spend like $500 to get a customer in. But of course, because it's more high ticket, $1,000 is quite realistic. So I'm really not against that, and I think this is something that Daniel's probably considered. I think this is very realistic, and it won't be over-promising at all. And this is based on global averages, and if on a small spend, you're always going to have better than average results, because it's only small spend. So unknowingly, Daniel has highlighted that it's going to be, or knowingly, it's going to be like $1,000 to acquire a customer on average. And I'm not mad about it, because that is realistic for this niche. You have to be very mindful that if you're ever stating return on investment and making claims and talking about how much lead cost is going to be, then you need to make sure that it's actually going to be realistic. In this instance, he's actually stating that the cost per lead is going to be like $50, which is really high. Like a cost per lead of about $50 is quite high. I would actually imagine for this client you're going to get between $20 and $30 cost per lead. And so if anything, this sets the client up to, number one, think, okay, 20 times return on investment is incredible, but actually sets the client up to be over-delivered on, because the cost per lead is going to be significantly lower than is anticipated here. So, yeah, I suppose I've just come to terms with that in my own head. I'm not mad about it. I think that's great. Props to Daniel. It's always good to go through data. The best data is your own data. Second best data is global averages based on an individual industry.
Look, it's...
But I didn't highlight the transition. It was kind of a little bit like, again, without knowing those affirmation points, like, are you with me, following, does this sound good? It would have been nice one there. Does this sound good? And then he's like, should we look at how this works for your business? Like, it would be better to go through what we call a free yes close. So we're first of all going to affirm that they understand. We're going to affirm that they know that first affirm that they understand that we understand their problems. Then going to affirm that they understand the solution and they agree that the solution is the right fit for their business. So we understand their problems. They agree that the solution is the right solution to solve their problems, and then we ask them if they're ready to take the next step. Okay, are you ready to take the next step? It's not like, should we see how this works? It's like, are you ready to take the next step?
So let's move forward from there. So I understand that what you just said.
Amazing. So what is your, I suppose, your marketing budget now? What would you like to allocate?
Look, to be honest, I have cut some marketing budget because it wasn't working. Word of mouth is another, website, for example. So I, cut them off, like, this year. And then recently, actually, I've just signed up for the design bathrooms, as I just said to you before. At the moment, like, the budget for it just depends, because I was doing everything myself before on the Facebook and all that, and I was getting some inquiries. As look, for Facebook or social media, it's hard to say that, as you just actually mentioned. So I'm not sure, like, this $12.76, is this like daily kind of rate, or is it a weekly, or how
So
does
this is
that
just as a minimum for you to understand what the minimum cost would be to reach one person. So based on those numbers that I said, the minimum cost to reach one person would be about 5 times that. So that would be about $60 something, and that is American dollars as well. So about $100 to reach one person. From that, we would have, we can make recommendation for what we think you should be spending on ads. The way it would work is we would start small to test and to get as quickly as possible, as many results as possible to see what works, and then scale up and, scale as much as you want to reach your goals, as we discussed earlier from there.
Yeah, but is this like weekly we're talking about?
So if you want, we can actually discuss costs, and I'll explain what it is. Facebook will charge you every couple of days in smaller increments, but we always look at the cost as a monthly cost, so it's more manageable for you. Okay. So if you're ready to hear costs, so based on your needs, our month.
This is normal. Daniel's stressing. He wants the client. There's the pressure's on. You can feel that in Daniel now. Now, it's really important that you lower the tone. You drop your tone. You drop your speed when you get to the close. Daniel's raised his energy, and because he's scrambling a bit. That's absolutely fine. Like, Daniel, if you're watching this, you fucking killed this first meeting, man. Regardless of what happens in the rest of this, I'm looking forward to critiquing your objection handling, but you killed this. But you can tell that your energy is raised, and what you want to do in the close is you want to lower that energy. You want to take things slower. You want to speak very clearly, and you want to be very relaxed. You have to be very confident in when we state our price. We don't just blurt it out.
Monthly fee for our Facebook ad service is $1,000, and we have a startup fee of another.
I would also get rid of these numbers on screen right now, because they're influencing the prospect's decision making. Because he's like, what is this? He's looking at that $12. It's the only dollar sign on the screen. He's just fixated on that $12. He doesn't even care about any other number. So let's get rid of these numbers on screen, and so we can just have a very clear conversation with a prospect.
$1,000, but to be honest with you, like, after speaking with you and actually getting an idea of how much of a great case study I know you'd make, I'd be willing to waive the startup fee if you wanted to go ahead.
Okay. And this actually, the $1,000 a month, for example, that the advertising or your service, for example, is this on? Is there any other actually advertising cost on top of that?
Yes. So it would be the ad spend amount. So I would advise a minimum of $1,000 a month.
He's blurting it out. I would advise a minimum of $1,000 a month. Like, yes, absolutely. So of course you still have to pay for the Facebook ads, and that's to Facebook directly. Now, the starting budget I would recommend for you guys is $1,000 a month. Okay. Ideally, then, regardless of what the prospect says, we want to say, and we stay dead, we stay quiet. It's very important. Let the prospect speak. Ideally, we then want to dwarf that by saying, but look, you're at $90K per month at the moment. You want to get to $180K. If we're going to get you to that point, you're going to have to spend a lot more than $1,000. So that is just our starting budget. We're going to run a lot of tests. We're going to optimize on those ads. And when we know they're really profitable for you, so we're going to scale them up. Okay. So actually, the budget that we're going to end up on is going to be significantly more than what we start off with. Okay. So we dwarf that. But in contrast and in comparison to their goals.
So how much would the total be? About $2,000?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So spending at $2,000, Daniel. So I'll be honest with you, it will be a bit too much for me. I'll tell you why. Because at the moment I'm spending about $1,300 with the two companies with Google. Like they're doing all my SEOs, which is and on top of that, I'm spending nearly, I think, $300 or $400 with House as well, which is around like $2.5 grand. So and just doing the advertising, and as I said, like I'm getting some inquiries at the moment anyway with with the Google SEOs and stuff. And spending $2 grand, like just on Facebook or Insta, for example, it will be a little bit too much for me at this stage. But as I said, no. So in the future, I don't know, because this is actually the design bathroom. We just started like about a few weeks back, like only I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just signed up, and they're still working on that. And I'm getting actually some inquiries, not like as what I would like to, get some, but I am actually getting some inquiries on that. With the social media, I know that I always wanted to go into the social media more. But it was, as I said, like, I did receive calls before, and it was just a little bit too expensive for me at this stage, because Google is working sort of for me, but not to that point where I want to be. But at least it's just keeping me busy. So as I said to you, when I expand, for example, so obviously I need actually more leads. And if I need more leads, for example, then obviously there'll be more revenue coming, and then I don't mind actually spending more, on the. And I do actually advertising on some couple of magazines as well, which they cost me like $1,500 a year, or 6 months. I think they have every 6 months. So
yeah.
So with this $2 grand, like as I said, like I'll be upfront and honest with you, man. I like your service. I like the way you explain it to me, but at this stage, I think it'll be too much for me.
Okay. So from everything you've shared throughout this meeting, so I've shown you how, based on what you need and what you're trying to achieve, how this will actually help you to increase your revenue in that way. So are you saying that you want to do this, but you can't afford it? Or is it that you don't see the value in the service itself?
No, at this stage, I cannot. I mean, not me, like as a company cannot afford that, because I know where we're going now at the moment. And at this stage, we cannot afford that. But like, you never know what happens in like 2 months' time, for example, or 3 months' time, when we get to, more close to, or after the budget, for example. So I don't know. So some people, they just hold on to it, because I've done so many inquiries and quotes at the moment, and people are still sitting on it, and they're not like making any decisions. So especially in May, June, so this is very normal. Like it happens. People just wait for the budget, so if they have any investments, for example, and all that sort of stuff. So from July onwards, we'll see how things go, and if the business improve, for example, and we have more budget allowance for more social media advertising. And as I said, like I always wanted to spend more money on the social, but it's just mainly the budget, because I had actually a couple of people told me before, and it was around like the similar kind of figure, but a couple of grand a month extra, and so I didn't actually go ahead with that because of that the budget constraint.
Yeah, I understand. Look, so just so I understand then, from everything you're saying, how is it that you're going to afford to continue going without it, based on what your goals are and what you want to achieve? Because you already told me you wouldn't be happy staying at where you're at now, and you're going to keep working towards continuing
as
forward.
I said, like in 4 to 6 weeks time, so I will have a person here with me, and I have some backlogs that I'm trying to actually clear off. And then, as I said, like I've done inquiries, and people are quite positive about what I have actually quoted them, and they're just actually sitting on it, like they're just waiting, like so once the budget thing is done and all that, they will actually make a decision soon. And I have actually some jobs, or you can say like some quotes that they are looking quite promising. So that's how actually I'm just working on it from July onwards. So I may have actually pretty good budget, and then I can actually just afford more on social media. And plus I will have someone in the office as well to, obviously when we create the leads there, so I need actually some time as well to go there and see the clients. And so I need actually backup at the same time with me. So it's not just like I've got about 1 or maybe 2 people working in the office. I've been talking to them, and so they will be working as as a subcontractor, by the way, and casual subcontractor. That's how I'm going to start with them. Not like so permanently on in the business. So they will be actually initially they will be starting 3 days a week, and if the business grows, for example, then I'll make a decision on that, and if I need someone actually permanently in the business. Obviously, I'll have actually a clear picture as well at the same time then. So from July onwards, see how business go. I'm hoping actually that it will pick up. This year has been actually a little bit struggling for us. So even though actually I am, spending a little bit of money, obviously I have to spend money to, get sales and leads and all that. That's why I'm just trying with the bathrooms as well. Because bathrooms is the reason for the bathroom is it's quicker lead time. On the bathrooms, when I start, in 3 to 4 weeks time, I'm just done and dusted. So with the kitchen renovation, it takes a little bit longer. So there's a 6 to 8 weeks actually that turnaround on the kitchen projects.
Yep, absolutely.
So look, I'm happy to actually keep in touch with you. Maybe just give me till end of June. And,
no, 100%. Look, I've been in this business for a solid while, and I know what it's like for a person when they've put it off because they've wanted the service, but they've put it off just based on budget. And then when they start seeing the return, they go, shit, why didn't I do this earlier? And this is actually why we started to begin with, as I said to you on the phone, giving the guarantee, because we want to show people, if you had 5 quote ready leads by the end of this month, would that be worth the $2,000 for you?
Look, I mean, obviously it will be, yeah. I mean, if
so that's the equation that I'm sort of trying to put into your head is because there's a guarantee, and obviously we have to qualify people before we give the guarantee, and that's exactly what I've done now in this meeting is I have qualified you as definitely a good candidate. That's why we have that guarantee in place to say, look, I understand that you're scared that, what if, this looks great, but what if it doesn't work? But that's exactly why we have that guarantee. If this doesn't get you the leads that are, obviously it's up to you to close them, but if this doesn't get you the quality and qualified leads that we're saying it will, then you just don't have to pay us at all. Obviously, you'd still have to pay the ad spend. We're risking our half for you to risk for you to risk your half, but because the ad spend just goes directly to Facebook, that wouldn't even go through us.
Just explain it to me. Actually, how does this thing work? I mean, if you guys supply the qualified leads.
Okay, just want to stipulate whatever happens before the end of this call. There was a part of me then is like, how's Daniel going to turn this around? Because the prospect's he's pretty out. But what he's done here, and this is great from Daniel, and I think he could have articulated this a bit better. He's held his guarantee back. And this is what I recommend to most agency owners. He's got a guarantee. It's 5 quote ready leads. He's got $1,000 budget. He's going to get a shit ton more than 5 quote ready leads. Okay, a lot more. And he's held it back just in case he has to use it as a weapon inside the meeting. Now, this is so powerful because so many agency owners lean on that guarantee, and then the whole sale becomes about the guarantee. Daniel has used himself and his knowledge and his expertise and his genuine interest in the prospect as the main sales mechanism. He's really truly established that the prospect just has an affordability issue and not a value-based issue. And only now has he pulled out final weapon, but what about the guarantee? And then we'll see what's going to happen. I have no clue how this call is going to go. I literally have no idea what is going to happen from here on. So let's see how this plays out.
Is this
so? Yeah. So we would look at, we sort of do this. It's a bespoke service that we do differently for different businesses and different industries. But the way that we would look to do it is we would make a form. And we would do this, we would make a few different forms for a few different ads, and we would see which of these forms works best to get you the best quality lead. So we would talk to you and say, hey, this guy, the guys that came out of this form said that they were out of budget. The guys that came out of this form were great, whatever it is. We would look to see what kind of people we're getting from each sort of questions. And obviously from experience, we've already got some ideas of what works better than others. I will tell you that this is a very common issue, is getting leads. Someone will run this service, they'll get leads, but the leads won't be qualified and they'll be out of a budget. They'll want stuff that's too cheap. A lot of the time, the problem is that the people, when they make the form, they will straight out just ask the person, what is your budget? And normally what we find tends to happen is if you ask someone what's their budget, they're naturally just going to want to choose whatever the cheapest option is. So that's not an effective way of doing this and of getting you leads. So what we do is we ask sort of more intelligent questions to try understand something else about a person that might lead us to believe how likely they are to be the correct lead for you. And that's what we base it off statistics.
So I will have to pay. Sorry, Daniel, to cut you off. So I will have to pay for the ads at this stage, and then
so for the ad spend, you always pay for the ad spend. You pay that directly to Facebook. So this runs on your Facebook account. We just manage it. So we make the ads and everything, and we do all of that, and that is why you pay us the fee. A lot of companies, what they will do is they'll say that they charge you, 20 to 30%, that's sort of the average percent fee of whatever the ad spend is. What that means is that you've essentially got a company working for you, that they have every incentive in the world to just keep driving your ad spend up and up and up. So while they might start at a similar price to us at around $1,000 or $1,500, they keep pushing it up, and they will continuously, they don't care if their main consideration isn't whether or not your ads are performing. Their main consideration is the more ad spend they can get out of you, the more their retainer becomes higher. We don't work that way because we don't want to be incentivized for any other reason other than to make your ads better. So our thinking is, if we make your ads continuously better, you will stay with us and we will retain you as a customer. And that is our goal at the end of the day, is retention. We don't charge you any extra. The $1,000 is a flat fee today, and it's a flat fee if in 2 months from now you decide you want to spend $10,000 a month on advertising. Mm-hmm. So that part of the money doesn't go through us at all. You just pay that directly with your card to Facebook.
Does that have to be like $1,000 then? Like for example,
you can. So it's just that the lower the ad spend is, the more of an uphill battle we're fighting to try and get your return on investment.
How many customers we can reach to with the $1,000, for example?
How many what? Sorry.
How many customers we can reach to for $1,000?
In terms of how many leads, or how many people could we get the ad in front of?
How many people we can reach actually to? Yeah.
The reach would be about, based on the averages, it would be about 50,000 odd people, something like that.
Okay. And then we can
it's an estimate. We'll see more once we actually do it. But I'm just going to tell you this: once we start, if you wanted to then later on, if you didn't feel comfortable right now spending that much money, you can reduce if you want. I would advise you against it, and I think you'll think the same once you see the leads. But you can if you want. When we start off, it's not advisable to have a really low ad spend, because if it just takes the less money you spend, the more time it takes for us to be able to optimize, because there's less meat on the bone for us to work with and to be able to test out different ads. Yep. The first stages, the first couple of weeks of running the ads, we want to test out as many creatives as possible and as many ads as possible to see exactly what works as quick as possible and to be able to get your results. So if you limit that, you're constricting, not only that, but our fee remains the same. So I would really advise against it. It's just, you're constricting the airflow of this working as it should, and it would just take a lot longer for you to see return.
Bang on. Spot on. So many agency owners would fold at this point and be like, yeah, we can spend $500 a month. And then they sign up a client, don't get them results. So they've wasted a month of their time. They feel like they're a shit advertiser. The client hates them. Maybe they get a bad review at some point. Just don't do it. In an industry like this, $1,000, that's what you need to spend minimum to get clients in, okay? And so bang on. Stay true to your word. You've always got to think as if you're an established agency owner that doesn't need to sign up a client. If you're a desperate newbie and you're trying to sign up a client, and you're like, yeah, we can do $500, you're just making these rookie errors. You're going to learn from that mistake, and you're going to learn hard. This is spot on. Okay, stay true to your word. You're going to build more trust in the eyes of the prospect.
Okay. All right. Look, Daniel, I trust you, so we can probably give it a go.
Okay.
So
amazing.
Because I like the way you're explaining to me these things, and I don't want to waste your time and energy and all that. So we can give it a go on this one, and then we'll see how things go.
Amazing.
And, with you need to actually explain it to me, the whole process, how things work. Obviously, I know that I have to give you the authority, I think, on the Facebook or something like that. Yeah, that's
right. So you you pay Facebook directly, just so you understand.
Yeah, understand.
That didn't go through us at all. Yeah.
I think I've had my the card set up there, the business card before anyway, so that's fine. I can update that. And because at the moment, actually, my other Google guys, they are just running some just like general ads and all that sort of stuff at the moment. And yeah, so I can actually just take them off and give you admin kind of role there.
Sounds great. Yeah, look, I'll run you through absolutely I'll do it with you. So everything that all the process that we need to get onboarded. What I want to do now is book a kickoff call, an onboarding call, so that I can actually sit with you and show you exactly what needs to be done. We cross all our T's and we dot all the I's to make sure that we're setting you up as well as we can from the get-go.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man. No problem. So just let me know.
So have you got time? Actually, I had a guy cancel tomorrow, so normally it takes a couple of days, but I can do tomorrow at a few times.
Tomorrow I'm out actually. I'm on site tomorrow. Let me just have a look. How long does it take?
Look, I'm going to stop the meeting there because this is going to be going through the onboarding process and so on, and I want to make this about the sales call. And we already know here Daniel's going ahead and booking in that onboarding call, which is crucial. Regardless of the outcome of this call, you never want to leave a call without another call booked. Even if the prospect, like I said, I need to think about this, get another call booked. Always leave a sales call with another call booked. And that's exactly what's happening here, and he's going to run through the onboarding process and so on. This is an exceptional call. It's an exceptional example, and for the first sales call, it's just the perfect example that somebody has taken our framework and just truly adopted it and stuck to it and ran with it. Daniel has followed our meeting strategy by the book, and pretty much with a little bit of deviation. And I think we can see here that most agency owners, okay, and dare I say some of you guys right now, actually, let me ask you a question. How many of you would have got the close after that initial no? Okay, how many of you have had prospects that... Have you had a prospect that has said no to you in that instance and you've given up on that call? Because I can tell you 95% of agency owners, especially new start agency owners, would give up when they got that first objection. And it's very clear that Daniel has intently studied the objection handling training that he's been given inside the academy, and this is just like the prospect could have given him 10, 20 other objections and he would have been able to bat them back, because we literally have this huge list of objection handles that we train our community on. And so Daniel has studied that so intently and has stuck to that, and just all I have to say, like, well done. Absolutely smashed it. Guys, I hope you've got a ton of value from this video. If you want me to do more call reviews in the future, then I absolutely can. Drop a comment down below, actually, and just let me know. And only if I get enough comments, if it shows that their demand is there. These take me a lot of time to do this. I've been sat here for hours. So only if we get enough time, enough people wanting these, commenting down below, letting us know, yes, we want more sales meetings, then I will record more in the future. Cool. Cheers for now.